That's funny as fuck. Yo, what's up, guys? We're here from Nothing to Something. Danny Mo's in the house. And we got a good friend of mine sitting across from me. Go ahead, let him know who you are. Tell him a little bit about yourself, sir.
This is Harvey Castellano, transplanted from Queens, New York to North Mexico almost 10 years ago. Wow, it's going to be about 10 years now. And I'm here because I met up with you through the business of MMA.
Yeah.
And found out that you're from around my way and saw heard your first podcast, and I was like, I got to be on here.
Yeah.
There we go. Boom.
For sure. You hit me up and you were like, dude, that shit was hilarious. I got to get on there. I was like, absolutely. The more the merrier, right?
Yeah. Because you took off your Marine hat, you took off your MMA hat, and you were like a straight up kid from Queens just getting dirty. And I was like, oh God. That's the real guy. And you went pretty far, you know.
You know, for me, it's really important to always be real, and like, you always got to be who you are, you know?
Yeah.
And every time I go home and I deal with my family and stuff like that, they're really, not shocked or surprised, you know. I'm just as wild in front of them, you know. Like,
right.
My mom heard podcast one, and she was
right.
Like,
yeah. Oh
that's
God.
That's the kid I raised. I knew it.
Yeah. My mom wouldn't. I'd never let her hear stuff like that. But that's just me.
Yeah. So all right. So Harvey. So where are you from originally?
I was born and raised in Elmhurst, Queens, right? Elmhurst, Jackson Heights borderline, 82nd Street, Roosevelt Avenue, Broadway, Elmhurst Avenue. Yeah.
So you grew up out there until what age? What age did you leave New York, and where did you go?
Oh, I left I left New York for the first time when after my second year of college at St. John's University. Then I moved back to go back to school.
Right.
And ever since then, I've been going back and forth to New York, California, and my last trip, last time I lived in New York was 2007, and that's when I moved out here to San Diego.
Yeah, okay.
I never lived in San Diego.
What brought you out to San Diego?
The real estate business.
Real estate.
Yeah,
okay.
Because that was right before the foreclosure started happening, and I moved here specifically for that. Mm-hmm. So once the foreclosures hit, I was very well prepared, and I was that guy that knocked on doors telling people that they had to leave.
Right, you were.
You know, and I mean, it got to the point where I would do almost 5 a day.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So it got that bad?
It was real bad. It was real bad.
What's that about? I mean, I'm sure I heard about it, but I really don't know anything about it.
Yeah, well, during the real estate boom, everybody was buying homes that they couldn't afford and taking out bad loans.
Right.
And when the shit hit the fan, everybody went down at the same time, and everybody lost their homes at the same time. Yeah. So that gave us those years of downfall. And it wasn't uncommon for everybody and their mom lost their house. Yeah. It was like it was kind of like the whole real estate business hit a reset button. Yeah. You know.
You know, I seen I was watching a movie on Netflix, kind of about that. It was it was a movie, but it was like based on true events type of thing.
Right.
And they were talking about how like people were taking out loans that aren't good, and nobody's realizing it.
Right.
And it was basically like apparently some bankers had predicted the fall of the real estate business.
Right. Yeah. And I've watched all those movies, and they were all accurate.
Yeah.
You know.
Damn. So it's that bad, huh?
Yeah, it was that bad. Here's the funny thing, though. If you were in the military, you were active, and you were gone while this was going on,
right.
And I'm knocking on your door, and you're not answering, obviously, because you're not here.
Right.
When I did locate you, and I found out that you were active, you're off the hook.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they weren't allowed to foreclose if you were active military. Yeah. It was funny because there a lot of times they'd ignore me, right?
Right.
And I remember I put a sign on the door, and the sign got old, so you could tell that nobody's been here for like 4 months. And then one day I go, and the sign was off, and it looked like somebody opened the door. So I opened the door up. Guy was dressed in his gear, in his military gear, and all you saw were military bags lined up in the hallway.
Oh shit! You're like, oh,
with 3 other dudes,
damn,
all of the military. And I was like, oh, all right, I know what's going on here. Okay, yeah, you're active. Okay, here, I let the bank know. Stop the foreclosure right away. And then something gets worked out
with through the bank. It's crazy that they're able to just do that because, like they have certain circumstances that are different.
Well, dude,
you know what I mean?
During that time period, how the hell are you going to foreclose on a guy that's active?
Yeah, that's true.
That's real bad.
Right.
In the news.
That's just, I mean, that's bad juju. That's bad media. That's bad coverage.
It's bad everything.
That's bad all the way around.
Yeah.
But then it makes you wonder, right? Like if you're the next door neighbor and you're not in the military and your shit gets foreclosed and you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
are you telling me you have a problem with that policy?
No.
All right. So
I don't, because I'm in the military. But, fuck, man, I'm getting out, so a little bit, I guess, yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I had no problem with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I figured, for everything that they put you guys through, it's a good benefit to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of benefits when it comes to being in the military, I mean.
Right.
It's not, job isn't for everybody.
No, understood.
A lot of things and a lot of heartache, a lot of time away from your family and stuff, so, that's awesome that the banks were willing to do that and work something out for the military guys.
Yeah, I think they were forced to.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was their idea, I think.
Right.
It
was like, you're just going to do it.
Right.
So you got into real estate. What made you take that step? How old were you when you decided to do that?
Oh, gosh, 30-something. I made the jump because I kept getting laid off in the pharmaceutical business in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in professional sales in New York, and I jumped to pharma and kept getting laid off, and I wanted something steady. And when the opportunity came up, I thought that it's a way to hit the refresh button and start off new in something that could be very lucrative and sounded really interesting to me. And it was all new, and I just moved. I said, all right, be there next month.
Yeah. What was it? Something that was like spur of the moment? You got a job offer?
Yeah, spur of the moment conversation. And I was having a conversation with my brother-in-law. We were on a cruise ship down in Mexico and wasted, like drinking shots. He said, hey, this is what's going to happen in real estate. Everybody buying fucking homes and they're all going to fucking lose it all. Everybody, and you got to be ready for that. Do you want to do this? I was like, I'll be there, man.
You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly how it happened.
It's crazy how alcohol is involved in so many people getting so many outstanding opportunities. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Who you know, and you hang out with the right people, and you party with the right people, and you're like, you know what? I like you.
Yeah.
Do you want a job, or do you want to?
No. Completely understood. Every business meeting, the real good ones have drinks involved, or start off at the bar.
Absolutely, yeah. It's crazy. It's a part of like American culture almost. You know what I mean? Or like even just life culture. Everywhere you go, different countries, they always, like the Russians, they have fucking vodka and shit.
Yeah, they're hardcore.
Yeah, the Japs, they Japanese, they got their
sake.
Yeah, their sake. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's funny. I tell people all the time. I thought that I had met some pretty crazy drunks. I come from a background of a bunch of crazy Puerto Ricans. My father's Puerto Rican, and just a bunch of guys that just. Oh, man, just animals, And then I went to Australia.
No way.
Yeah.
You're kidding me. Dude, I don't know them at all.
But you know what? The thing is, though, when I went to Australia, it was like a different level. It was like these dudes were fucking like sucking beer off the table.
Yeah, I heard about that, and that's to another level,
Those dudes are intense, but it's crazy to see, what can happen, when you're just out and just having a good time and enjoying yourself and the opportunities that present itself, because that's essentially what happened to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that conversation could have also taken place without alcohol. It's just that happened to just be, be that way.
Enjoy yourself.
yeah, it started talking about this and that, and and one thing escalates to another, and that's exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
It was like, I was going through a rut in New York, you know what I mean? I love it, born and raised there, but, when a chance to like just completely new, next month, boom, yes, okay, let me do it. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that won't take that chance.
Right.
There's a lot of people that don't want that opportunity.
Right, right.
Or they want the opportunity, but they're just not willing to take the risk. It's like the risk versus reward, and people just... They like comfortability. They like knowing, I might make minimum wage, but I know I'm making minimum wage.
Right. All I have to feel is like, I just got to make it there. Like, if I had to go to Miami, you know what I mean? Yeah. All I'd have to be like, all right, what's it going to take for me just to get there? And once I get there and I settle in, I'll figure something out. Right. Let me just figure out how to get there. Right. Once I get there, boom, I'll work it somehow.
I think that's because you're a hustler at the end of the day, And I always tell people, when you go to the East Coast, you meet like a different type of person.
Oh, most definitely,
it's so fast paced, and everybody's like got their thing going on, and they're grinding and pushing and hustling. From the dude selling hot dogs on the corner to the dudes, in the store selling Nikes and offering you deals. That doesn't happen out here. You can't go into a shoe store and be like, hey man, I'll buy 2 pairs of those. What price can you give me? They'll look at you like, I'll give you the price that's on the tag.
Right.
In New York, they're down to work and work something out.
Let me ask you something. In your opinion, do you feel that because you were born and raised and brought up in that type of New York environment, that you were able to see through people here a little bit easier than...
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Like you feel like you exactly right.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, like you could be like, that's a shady nigga right there, right? And then other people, what are you talking about? He's a great buddy.
He's a good guy.
He's a great guy, And then you're like, yeah, but there's something about that motherfucker, man.
I don't know, man. That dude is up to some shit.
He reminds me of that motherfucker from Corona that stole my bike at Fleshy Meadow Park. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that fucked up vibe when everybody else in San Diego is like completely oblivious to it? That's what I think.
When I came out here, everybody was so nice and friendly.
Yeah.
There were so many times. I was 19 years old. I was young when I first came out here. But there were so many times when I thought like people were like scheming on me. I thought like people were trying to rob me and shit. I'm like, no, you're too friendly, dog. I don't know you like that. Like,
right.
You're trying to get my attention too much. I'm good, bro. Get the fuck
right.
Like,
Okay.
That was my mentality.
Okay.
And it's I've summed it up to, it's your personal space bubble, right?
Yeah.
So, like, when you go to, like, the East Coast, especially the Northeast, the tri-state area, you're from New York, I'm from Connecticut, there's so many people when you're from an area where it's so packed and city-like and it's the hustle and bustle and everybody's moving and moving. You go into the subway and it's so packed.
Yeah.
Your personal bubble becomes tight.
Yeah.
So somebody can be standing right next to you and you don't even make eye contact and it's perfectly normal.
Right.
So then you come to a place like Southern California where, traffic is still crazy and there's still a lot of people here, but there's a lot more room, a lot more space when you're walking down the street, you're standing on a corner. So your bubble opens up. And whenever somebody gets as close as they would in New York, it's awkward.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, bro, my bubble opened up because we're at the beach, right? And there's not that many people, and you're fucking standing in it. And like, you're just up to something. Like, what the fuck?
We ain't on a train, bro. Right. Back the fuck up,
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. We're not in the fucking subway.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So, okay, so how did you get into the whole gig with, like, fighting and promoting for Epic?
Oh, that's funny. It's because of when I was networking in real estate, I met Jason Stewart, who's in real estate.
Oh, yeah.
And he came up, he goes, I also own a mixed martial arts promotion company, and he brought up both business cards. So he goes, which card do you want?
Yeah.
He had an MMA one and he had a real estate one, And then he invited me to my first MMA fight, which was Epic 7.
Oh, nice. That's an old school one back in the
day.
How long ago was that?
It wasn't really too long ago, but to me it was like forever ago. I'd say it was 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Maybe 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and at that time I wasn't sold on the sport. And that's crazy considering the way I am now.
Right.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
If you would have told me 5 years ago the way I'd be now with the sport, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, you know.
Yeah.
And I got consumed in it. I got consumed in the sport. I actually, in New York, before I left to go to San Diego, I didn't like the sport at all. I like combat sports. I liked martial arts, but like watching it from movies and stuff.
Right.
But as far as mixed martial arts and UFC and grappling and stuff, I didn't like it at all. And that changed when I moved here.
So when you moved here, you met Jason.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, I also own this. This MMA company called Epic Fighting."
Right.
And
he invited me to watch it.
Check it out. And
Just
you showed up and it just hooked you.
Yeah, just from real estate. It was a real estate thing. He's like, "Hey, why don't you just come down to my fight too?"
Right.
You know. But here's the funny thing is that that is when I started opening up to the sport, and the only reason was because of Brandon Vera.
Okay.
Because he was a Filipino fighter in the UFC.
Right.
A very close friend of mine from New York.
Okay.
Was a huge fan of his, and he called me and he goes, "Hey, Brandon has a gym, I think around where you live." So I looked it up, and he's, you know, Alliance is across the street from my dry cleaner.
Right.
You know, and I just happened to be in Vegas, you know, and I was looking at Twitter, and it said how Brandon Vera was fighting. So I just went because I happened to be in town.
Right.
And that was like my first MMA fight. I just went to the UFC fight.
Right.
And
so this was already after you were a little. You got like
no,
a little bit hooked, or this was before.
No, this was before I even met Jason.
Okay. So this was before you were really into MMA. You heard about Brandon Vera. You were in San Diego. Your buddy, who's a fan of his, said, "Hey, he's got a gym down there," and you looked it up, and the gym was across from your dry cleaner.
Right.
So you were interested a little bit. You had to be, right? Like,
no,
honestly, you're like, or you were just curious. To see.
Yeah. I was just curious to watch it because I, you know, just happened to be on Twitter and looked, and he was like that he was fighting, you know, that on that card, and I said, I might as well go. You know, let me go check it out. You know, and you know what? It was actually my sister who told me to go to the fight live because, like a dumbass, I was thinking about looking for it at a bar. To watch it, and then in Vegas,
so you're in Vegas.
Yeah,
like, hey, you guys playing the fight?
right. Yeah. That's exactly the way my sister looked at me. She goes, "Okay, let me get this straight. The fight's here in Vegas, and you're going to go to a bar in Vegas to watch the fight that's in Vegas."
Hey, are there even bars that will show the fight in Vegas?
Actually, yes, but it would have to be owned by the UFC.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So they even have a business deal with everything in Vegas. Like the only way.
Well, remember the owners of the UFC. Their business was hotels and local casinos for the locals in Vegas. So they have I'd say maybe about 8 of them.
So anytime there's a fight in Vegas, the UFC's hosting a fight in Vegas.
Yeah.
The only time you can be in Vegas and go to a bar and watch it on TV is if that bar or that business is owned by the UFC.
A lot of times, yes.
Right.
That's the way they control it, you know, to more people go more of their places. But then they will also license out the feed, and like a hotel could have it, but they have to, you know, have it in like a ballroom or something.
Damn, that's pretty crazy. Okay, so here's a question. I don't know if you can answer this, you know, but so what if I'm just in my room? Can I order?
No, you can't.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah,
so
no, believe me, I've been through the record. Here's another thing too: you can't bet on a UFC fight at the hotel that the UFC owns because it's kind of like a conflict of interest. Yeah, because I went to go bet on Gustafson Jones.
Right.
And I went to place a bet, and they told me like, "Oh, we can't take that bet because of." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. They own this fucking hotel." Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. You know, it's I love hearing little things like that people don't realize.
Yeah,
little ways where these major corporations are still like really focusing in on to like save a penny here or there, but like, that adds up in time. You know?
Yeah, of course.
It's that hustler mentality that I think we were talking about, like from the East Coast. You know, those people that are always on the grind. You know, you always got to be aware of that. Like, okay, how can we make this better?
Right.
How can we make this more lucrative? How can we have
Right.
more income? How can we have more progress?
Right. Now for the Gustafson Jones fight, they opened up like a huge ballroom, bigger than like what we have our fights in at the 4 Point Sheraton, right? And they had movie screens on every wall, and it was a packed theater.
How much was it to get in there?
I believe it was only like maybe $20. $20, right? But here's the thing: right before the main event started, all these people came in with pizza pies like stacked up, wheeled in, and they're like, courtesy of Dana White.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he picked up the tab for everybody's pizza, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and you know, you're thinking that, okay, there's not going to be enough pizza for everybody. No, there was enough for everybody.
And then some.
Yeah, like talking like at the end of the night, you know, you're looking under a box and there's still pizza.
Yeah, you're like, fuck you.
Yeah, man, they picked it up for everybody because it was such a huge successful night and everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and really cool. I've also been there when the pay-per-view sucked. A Mighty Mouse pay-per-view.
Okay, yeah.
When I entered the place, I was number 14. I actually counted the people in there. I was number 14. And I don't think it broke 20.
That's hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it was like UFC 173 or something. Mighty Mouse was the headline. Nobody was. They even lowered the price. You know, I went in there I went in there expecting to pay like $20. Oh, it's only $10. I was like, yo, cool. Cool. I went in there. I was like, oh.
You're like, shit. Are there a lot of hot chicks at the event or what? Like over there?
Yeah. Sometimes there are. Yeah. Yeah. I like going to the live fight where you're in the arena.
Right.
There, yeah, you'll see a lot of hot chicks. Yeah. Got to worry about who they're with, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're looking around, you're like, oh, yeah, chick. And the first thing you hear, like, I want to reach through.
Right.
And we're in Vegas.
Yeah, you know, UFC fight's not the place to pick a fight.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you were saying so your buddy hit you up. He said, hey, Brandon Vera is a Filipino fighter. He's really good. He owns a gym next to you. You looked it up. You saw it.
It was on the same street as my office.
But across the street from your dry
cleaner. Yeah.
So you just happened to be in Vegas and you were just on Twitter and you saw Brandon Vera had a fight.
Right, and I went.
In Vegas, you were like, you know what? Let's just go check this shit out.
Yeah, right? I went.
So what happened?
I went, and it was, I would say it was about halfway full. Mm-hmm. I bought like a cheap seat upstairs. It was like $150 or whatever. And I saw a great fights, and I saw something that hasn't reached its peak yet. I saw something that had really great potential in growing more than double of what I saw that night.
Now, are you talking about the sport MMA itself?
Yeah, the sport MMA, because what I saw were people that flew in from other countries to watch certain matches. I saw people that didn't speak English with their flag. I saw a lot of Brazilians, saw a lot of Japanese, and I said, we haven't reached the peak of this sport yet.
Yeah, I mean, MMA probably got big. It probably opened up in like 2005, you know? Yeah. And then it didn't start getting big until maybe like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, ultimately, you know, when it was like, had a huge fan base. I remember when I was watching TV only a couple years ago and I was like, bro, this is ESPN and they're talking about UFC.
Yeah, right,
you know?
right.
And I was like, holy shit, we're making it, you know? Yeah, that's really cool. It's crazy. And the other thing that I talk about all the time, that I tell people is like, it's interesting to see now that MMA is so big, if you go to like high school wrestling teams and you see the difference.
Yeah.
When I was coming up in high school, you know, you were a wrestler. I mean, you go to college and then maybe you'd go to the Olympics and then like that's it. You know, that was the peak. That was what it was. Maybe you got into pro wrestling.
Right.
You know, which was a huge dream where I'm from because, you know, Stamford, Connecticut is where WWE headquarters is.
Right.
I wrestled, and there used to be 30 kids in the wrestling room, and by the second week, there was fucking 7. We never even had a full team.
Well,
So
now it gives you some to look forward to if you're really good.
Right. And you know what? And I think a lot of these young kids are starting to look up to the MMA fighters and understand, like, hey, this is the grind, this is the work, this is the hustle. One day I'd like to try this out, so I'm going to stick with it. You know? There were a lot of kids that were like, nah, man, there's nothing at the end of this tunnel. This is a long, hard road.
That is
play basketball.
That's the foundation for MMA.
Yeah, a lot of it. You know, I think now there's a lot of other routes that you can take. You know, jiu-jitsu came to the States.
Yeah.
Only maybe 95. You know, 1995. So I mean, I tell people all the time because people ask me where can I train? Where can I train? And obviously, I push 10th Planet, you know, because that's my school, and because I really do believe in it, and it's helped me grow a lot. But I tell people too, like, wherever you feel comfortable, man. Any at this point in the martial arts world in America, any window for the most part that says they teach jiu-jitsu, you're gonna learn like legit jiu-jitsu, legit moves that'll work and that could be effective. You know.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something interesting to see MMA. It's growing and it's still growing.
Oh yeah, it's still. It is definitely still growing, and jiu-jitsu hasn't blown up completely to the capability that it has, because once you get like a Damon Maya, who if he becomes like champ and all he's doing is submitting everybody and their mom. Then the jiu-jitsu world is just going to completely blow up even more.
And with EBI coming out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Eddie Bravo is just killing it.
Dude,
I mean,
Eddie Bravo,
look, he's doing it right. He's licensing his, his 10th Planet thing.
I remember, when was it? It was not this last EBI, but the EBI before that. I had went there live, and like, EBI tickets are only like $40.
Right.
You know, and when I had gone, Gio was competing, so Gio had gotten the whole Freaks, 10 Planet Freaks, tickets. We were just on his roster. We just went and picked up our tickets. So, he showed us love with that. But it was Bruce Buffer was there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right,
it was
okay.
just really cool. Like in the very beginning, I was like, oh my God! Like I've gone to 2 EBIs before this, and like this thing's blowing up. The thing that I didn't like about it, though, is now that it's on UFC Fight Pass, there's less people in the stands. Okay. Yeah, because people are watching.
Understood, but still, the fact that it is on UFC Fight Pass gives everybody around the world an opportunity to watch it.
And I understand that, But it was just, I don't know, it was different, like, being in the stands, being in the stands, and it was a packed house before.
Oh, nice.
It was, like, packed, and everybody's, like, standing up and watching, and like, you know what I mean? Like, Joey Diaz is there, and Joe Rogan's there.
Do you listen to Joey Diaz?
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan?
I'm huge fans of them. Their stand up comedy. I'm a huge fan.
I want to see Joey Diaz live.
I saw him live.
Did you really? Oh wow! Really?
Probably in like June or July.
Some of his stuff is straight up New York. You know what I mean? Where only a guy from New York, a crazy dude from New York, can come up with stuff like that.
When I went to go watch his stand-up comedy, I feel like what I was listening to was a dude just get up there and bullshit. He's like, "What's up, cocksuckers? I fucking can't wait. I tell you what, I've been away from my wife for a long time.
Yeah.
Get home and give mama a stabbing, motherfuckers." He's like, I got a fucking sleep apnea mask. I'm gonna fucking make my own sleep apnea mask and put a hole in it so I can just eat that fucking box with the sleep apnea. he's just saying, funny ass shit,
Or he wakes up in the morning and the first thing he does is he sparks up a bowl. Hey, good morning, cocksuckers.
Yeah.
So this morning I'm smoking lemon haze. Start your fucking day off this way.
Yeah, he's got the podcast. I haven't heard it. I don't listen to his podcast. I should.
Yeah.
But it's the religion of what's happening now. Or
something like that. Yeah. I heard him on Chael Sonnen's podcast. And he just killed it. It was hilarious, man. So I had to subscribe to his, man. Yeah. Chael Sonnen actually became one of my favorite podcasts to listen to now. In addition to Joe Rogan, I got Joe Rogan on there.
Yeah.
But That dude, fucking Coco Diaz, just fucking off the hook. I want to see him live.
He's crazy. He's just awesome. He's just one of those people that like just gets up there and he just makes you laugh. You know, he's one of those people that you want to talk to all the time. I feel like, you know, I hear him all the time. I remember there's a podcast I'm actually a really big Joe Rogan fan. You know, and I'm actually so far behind on his podcast because I started from podcast 1.
Right.
And I'm like, I just want to listen to them all, you know.
Right. No, I hear. I hear you. Yeah.
But there was one episode where it was like Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, and Joey Diaz, and Joey Diaz had said something like, he's like, what is that on your fucking wrist, Eddie Bravo? What do you got over there? And he's like, what, dude? It's fucking rock and roll, dude. Because, you know, Eddie Bravo loves rock and roll, and he's got, like, his fucking wristband. He's like, it's fucking rock and roll, dude. You know what I mean? And he's like, fucking Eddie Bravo's sitting next to me with a fucking leather strap on his wrist. Looks like he's waiting for a fucking falcon to land on his wrist or some shit. It's just fucking hilarious. Like, the way he says it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I'm a huge fan of them. I went to go see them live. I saw Joey Coco Diaz live in Sacramento, and then I saw Joe Rogan live. Like
oh, really?
The very I had flown to Sacramento to see somebody, and then when I landed, it was my birthday.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Like, everybody was treating me to all this shit.
Yeah.
Friends. So like when I went to Sacramento, I got to go see Coco Diaz, and then I landed from Sacramento and got picked up from the airport and got taken to Irvine. To go see Joe Rogan live. So that that was really cool. You know, I got to experience that. So
wow, Joe Rogan live. Yeah. I haven't. I want to see both of those guys one day live. But Joey Diaz. He described somebody as smelling worse than 10 dead Iranians, and I fell out. I said, "Oh my God, this fucking guy."
Yeah, he's fucking crazy. Man. He's fucking crazy, and just his stories. Like he talks about like how he's a felon and he does this crazy shit, and you know what I mean. And I mean, man, it's crazy from the stories that he tells to see where he's at now.
Right.
The success that somebody can have. You know what I mean?
And
it's really interesting.
Did you hear Joe Rogan tell the story of how there was a female comic, right, or some type of comic that would always bomb, right? Now, what Joey Diaz did was, you know what I'm talking about? That every punchline, he would open the curtain and take out his dick and belly, right? His fat gut and his dick was or his balls. What is his balls? His balls.
Massive balls.
Yeah, his balls and his gut were hanging out,
and everybody's laughing. Right. And they think they're laughing at the jokes.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, you know, that takes a certain fucking mentality to do some shit like that to somebody. That is fucking hilarious. Wow.
I almost wish I was there in person to watch that shit.
That shit, you know? And the thing, if I was in the audience, I still wouldn't tell her. I'd be like, great fucking show. Yeah. Wow, you did really great. I was laughing so much. All right, so you went to go see that Brendan Vera fight, right?
Yeah.
And what was it? What did that do for you, like in your mind, as far as like, did you become a fan a little bit, or did you still feel like this, like neutral, like I don't know yet?
No, after I watched that first fight, I knew that I was gonna watch this forever. I knew it was like a turning point. Right. You know, I saw the light. I saw, wow, this is gonna be like blow up to even bigger than it is right now, and it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like that's exactly what's happening right now. Almost.
Right. And you know, the funny thing was that okay, I went there just because Brandon Vera was on the card. He wasn't even headlining it. And I got to see Frankie Edgar and Gray Maynard fight, which was an incredible fight. Right. But I also saw Brian Stan and Chris Lieben.
Oh, nice.
How funny is that? Yeah. My first fight, and Chris Lieben's on there, and he's the commentator. He's the epic fighting commentator.
Were you ever able to talk to him and tell him about that, or no?
Yeah, I talked to him about that when we were at the beach the last time. I was like, yeah, man, my first fight, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's funny how that works out that way.
Yeah, the crippler, huh?
Yeah, right? And he came from Hawaii, moved to San Diego, and now he's, part of the team, and he's in real estate now. He's listing properties with Jason.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's MMA is getting so big, and me getting out of the Marine Corps to chase that dream and that goal. I tell people all the time, it's starting to become like being a rapper, where it's like there are so many people who want to do it, and there's so many people who are grinding, for that shot, and you really have to want it. It's not like you can just be a fighter and just get the call. You have to be on top of your game, and you have to be on point all the time. So
right.
It's something that's crazy. To think about how something so small came. Essentially from nothing to something, because eventually that anything that's big started out as something small, something that people made fun of and laughed at and thought it was a joke. And I think it's just persistence and consistency and constant knocking at your craft, regardless of what it is. It's gonna grow. Yeah,
but you're fortunate though, because you have the structure to see everybody on the right path that they're supposed to go through. Right. Think about the people that don't have the direction or the right team or the right teammates or the right training partners or the right coach. Right. I know a lot of guys that, I can't direct them. I go, I think that you should go over here. Right. But there's some guys that are just not with the right team.
The right camp.
Right, not with the right camp. Or there's some guys that they need somebody to just kick their ass. For them to take to the next level.
Funny. I have a buddy of mine who's a pro fighter, and he's not bad. He's not bad. He has a bad record though.
Yeah,
and it sucks. But he felt like he was at the top of his game, and I'm trying to get him out here. I'm trying to get him out here to train with us. And he's out in Florida, and he's better than everybody where he trains at, and that's the problem.
That's not good.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's not good.
You wanna if you're on top if you're not going to the gym and getting your ass whipped by somebody, you need to find another gym.
Mm-hmm.
You do, It's funny. People ask me all the time, like oh, what'd you do this weekend? And I tell them like, oh, I went to the gym and got my ass whipped, and they laugh, but I'm serious. Like I'm not saying that to be cool. Like it sucks.
Right,
but
right.
I like that keeps me happy, I know as long as I'm getting my ass whipped, I'm growing and I'm learning. There's people who are better than me, and I'm gonna learn from that.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people get comfortable with being the best in their gym, then they get a fight, they get a little bit of a wake up call, and some people are more fortunate than others, and I am one of the fortunate ones to be down here with the team that I'm with, and have the guys in my corner that I have, and have the ability, with epic fighting and things like that to go and fight somewhere, I used to go to the
Explode.
Yeah. I used to go to the Explode XFS fights, and it was just like, it was cool because it was really like the only stage out here that amateurs can compete at, but it was just, it's not epic fighting.
No,
it's completely different.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with Camo. Sanctioning the fight, because there are a lot of things that things that shouldn't be going on over there that happen. But if you look at the whole promotion, and there are legitimate fighters that fought there and are with us now. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I had people telling me that I was turning epic fighting into a sanctioned version of Explode, and that I shouldn't use any fighters that ever fought for Explode. Really? I was actually told that.
Really?
Yeah, and I completely disagreed with them. I go, no, because you can't just judge a guy that took a fight at Explode. It doesn't mean that he's a fraudulent fighter. He's got no skills. If he does want to step it up and fight for a sanctioned promotion, you got to open the doors up for him. You don't take a 5-0, like a proverbial 5-0 record from an Indian reservation fighter.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a different story. But to say that you don't let anybody that has ever fought there fight on one of our cards was completely wrong.
Yeah.
And
I disagree with that one.
Yeah, and I had that discussion with somebody who this was a person that I respected their opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not somebody who's like a complete retard.
Yeah, somebody they had a relevant opinion. And
Yeah,
they really felt that way. They really felt strongly.
Right. So that's why it turned into kind of like a heat, not a heated argument, but we raised our voices. But it was just because we were going back and forth in our debate. But I'd like to say that I think I was right because I mean, right now Jeremy. He came from there,
right?
And he's our belt holder right now.
Yeah,
you know,
belt holder,
right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, Camo asked me, he goes, "All right, well, what makes you think that this guy should be able to fight for him?" And I sent him the links to his videos, and I go, "Believe me, because of his camp, I know that he's worth it." And yeah, they gave him the shot.
Yeah,
you know. So with that being said. I feel that anybody who, you know, if they're willing to get registered and willing to get cleared and fight for the amateur show in Camo, everybody should be able to.
Right. At the end of the day, you should be afforded the opportunity, you know?
Right.
If you get in there and you get embarrassed and it's your first fight,
yeah,
that happens.
Right, yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? My first fight, I came out with the glove touch. And then I got head kicked. You remember that?
Of course I remember that. Yeah, of course I remember that.
And I mean, I could have gotten knocked out, and it could have been like, just...
That's why you and I are here right now.
Right. That's true.
Is because I watched that, and I saw what you went through in that fight, and I saw how you were knocked out, and you just kept on going for it. And I was like, yo, I got to get this guy on my card because he shouldn't have been fighting the rest of that fight.
Yeah.
And I saw that first hit, and I swear to God, I was like, how's he not out now?
Yeah.
You know?
My brother talks about it. He's like, because my brother was there, and it was really emotional for me after the fight because I didn't see... My brother was in Connecticut. I didn't see my brother at all.
Oh, okay. You didn't have an idea that he was there?
I had no clue.
Oh, cool.
Until the end of the third round sounded, and I put my arms up, and I like walked around, and I saw people I knew, and my brother was right there. And if you watch the video, you see where I'm like, and I broke down. I got emotional. You know, it was like, it was just a lot for me. But my brother was like, bro, when he kicked, I was recording. When he kicked you, I almost dropped my phone.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I didn't get it, you know?
Yeah.
Funny to think about, you know? Because, man, it was definitely something. But that happens, though. That happens. You know, that was my first fight, and it was against somebody that he was a big dude, and he was coming out of a really solid camp. I used to train with Team Quest, and I know
he had
with Sokaju, and he's training with all these dudes striking and shit. So
yeah, he definitely had the height and the reach advantage, and on the bell, pa, second number 2 was a freaking head kick, and you know what There's an argument could be made that he could have stopped it right then and there, right?
Right. And it's
imagine had he done that, how different would your life have been, right? You know what I mean? Maybe I wouldn't have known you.
And the thing is, so here's the thing, though. So like, it's funny that you said that because I actually messaged Jason Herzog.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come back.
Yeah.
He just messaged me back. He's like, hey, man, that was all you. It's really tough. I don't like stopping fights, but in the MMA, I have to. By the time I got to you, you were already on your feet, ready to go.
Okay.
So I just let it go, you know? But, yeah, he definitely could have stopped it. And I'm so grateful that, like, you know, that he's just like...
imagine you had to go back to your boys and go, what happened? Yeah. I got knocked out. How long after 2 seconds? They put you on the cover of a marine publication. We broke a record. A marine broke a record. Oh, he knocked the dude out 2 seconds? Nah, he was knocked out in 2 seconds.
That's hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. You know, I think that everybody deserves the opportunity to definitely at least get out there. We want to crack these.
Yeah.
Hold on, real quick. Give me 1 second. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that everybody definitely deserves an opportunity to get out there. And if you go out there and embarrass yourself and it's your first fight, I mean, it happens. You know, if you embarrass yourself and it's your third or fourth fight, then, you know, maybe it's time to just take it a little bit more serious.
Yeah,
you know?
But then again, there's also some people who they come in and they register for camo, and I contact them, and they're in between gyms, so they don't even have a team, and they don't have a coach, but they've been training for a couple of years, and I don't like putting those guys in that are team independent. You know what I mean? I don't have a guy. You need a guy who's going to be in there and who knows what you're doing and knows your strengths and your weaknesses and has a camo license.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't need a guy that's going to be in there just so he can videotape your first fight and your first knockout.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know, it's crazy because you bring that up, and when I first started training at San Diego Combat Academy, right? Well, first I was with Team Quest.
Yeah.
Team Quest in Oceanside, and I really wanted to fight, but I was really unsure, and I was training all the time, and I had just gotten to jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu became my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember Marty Davila.
No.
I don't think he ever fought for Epic, but he fought for True Forum, and he held a couple tights. He was I think he held the belt, the 125 belt for Explode for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And then he went pro, and he's with who is it down there in Miami? What's that team down there in Miami?
The Black Zillions?
No, not the Black Zillions. The other ones, Coconut Creek.
Oh,
American Top Team.
Yeah, ATT. Yeah.
So he's down there in Miami with American Top Team, and he's doing good. You know, I keep in touch with him, but he's the one who got me into jiu-jitsu.
Oh, good.
I was training, and I was really into weight training. You know, I was really like big, bulky kid, and he was just talking shit. We were rolling, and as we're rolling, he's like talking. She's like, "I'm gonna snag your arm. I'm gonna snag this arm," and he was snagging it, and I realized, thinking, I was like, "Man, this dude can destroy me. He can beat me if he wants to right now." And I couldn't do anything about it, you know?
Yeah.
So he really got me involved in the sport. And with Team Quest, it was like, I wanted to fight, but, you know, I wasn't sure. And we had a couple guys that actually did end up fighting from Team Quest Oceanside on the Epic card that I went to go see and stuff like that.
Okay.
Neftali, I don't know if you remember him. He had one fight, and then he was one and done, and then he ended up moving back to wherever he was from. And he got into boxing and stuff. And I don't know what's up with him now, but from there, I ended up messing with 10 Planet. I started really focusing on jiu-jitsu and doing really good, and Gio picked me up, and Gio's like, "Hey, I'll recognize your blue belt. I've been following you. I won Pan Ams," and he's like, "Yeah, this is no gi, so you're not going to use the gi anymore, and we're just going to train." So I started training, and I met Manolo. I met Manolo here in San Diego. One time we were out, and I actually met him at a gay club. I don't know what gay club, but we were, so this is what happened.
I knew it.
You're looking at me weird.
I knew it.
So, after a training session, me, Boogie, and Gio, we went out to eat. And Boogie's like, "Hey, we're going to go see some of my boys that work at this club real quick." And I didn't know San Diego, but we were out here in what's the place out here where it's like the gay community out here in San Diego? It's like the
I don't know, bro.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay, play that card, man.
I have no idea.
Either way, I don't know. But we were eating at this Thai spot, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "We're gonna go see my boy at this club," and we went to go see like this dude that he knew, basically dudes that train at the gym that are bouncers at this club. And then we go in there, and I'm with my girl, and I look at her because I'm like. And then I realized, I'm like, dude, this is a fucking gay club. Like, what
Right. Okay.
I'm with my girl, you know, and it wasn't packed, and it wasn't weird at all. And I'm not homophobic or anything like that.
Okay.
You know? And Manolo ended up showing up. He's like, "Hey, I was in the area, and, you know, and
I just happened to be here, and
yeah, right, fucking Manolo." And it's funny because he tells people all the time. He's like, "Hey guys, this is Danny. If you don't know, he trains with us. He's a Marine. He's good to go. He's a badass." I met him at a gay club, actually, and that's how we met. And he tells me when I'm like, "Come on, man, stop doing that," you know? And it's funny because we actually went and had cupcakes after we met. You know what I mean? Right next door, there was like this place where you could have coffee and like cupcakes and shit. You know what I mean? So he tells people like, "Yeah, we met at a gay club and had cupcakes."
Are you leading me to down the road to like open up some something really big right now?
No. I'm getting to the point. I met Manolo, and basically, he had told me like, "Hey, I need you to get down to like 155. You know,
really?
If you want to fight like for your height, I need you down to like 155." And
right.
I was like, if that's the only option I have, that's the only option I have, you know. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna train. I'm gonna get down in weight. And I ended up training with a friend of mine, and it was in Carlsbad, a dude that I knew from Team Quest, and he hit me up. And he's a pro fighter. He fought for Bellator a couple times. Yeah. And he had a fight coming up for True Forum.
Okay.
And he was like, "Hey, I got this fight coming up. Can you roll with me a little bit? Can you work with me?" So I would go and I would roll with him. Chris Herrera.
Okay.
You know Chris Herrera?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chris was like, "Hey, I got this fight coming up," and he was a good friend of mine. And so I went and I rolled with him, and then he was like, "Hey, if you want to fight, I can get you in there." And then I had met. Who's the one that runs True Forum?
Josh Griggs.
Josh Griggs. And he was like, "Yeah, if you want to fight, I can set it."
Oh, that's how you got the fight in Oceanside.
That's how I got it.
Oh, wow.
Through Chris. And then I had just went back to Manolo, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to rep 10 Planet Oceanside.
Oh, okay.
I got this fight coming up." Manolo, I can tell he was like, "Well, all right, if that's what you're going to do, fuck it." You know? And then I trained for as much as I could, you know.
Right. Okay.
That's how it opened up, and after that happened, I knew that Manolo had seen the fire and the passion that I had in the sport, in the game, and he really gave me a chance. And even to this day, he always, when I don't show up to practice, he always gives me shit. He's like,
"Yeah,
well, remember," you know, he'll like comment, he'll like, "Remember when you used to fight?" You know what I mean? And it's hard being in the Marine Corps and being able to make it to the gym every day, but it was. It's definitely something that if you want to do, you definitely deserve the opportunity to do regardless of the circumstances of where you've been or what you did.
Yeah.
You know? Especially at the amateur level.
No, and I hear everybody who wants to do this, wants to do that, but then you got to take the steps and, you know, some of them, they don't even get fucking cleared.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, you can't even get cleared. You're not even responsible enough to take care of the paperwork and all of that stuff. With Jesus Christ,
what is it that they can't get for the most part? What's the difficulty in like getting cleared? Like they like.
Oh my God, the horror stories of people taking the wrong blood test.
Really?
I've had that happen the day before a fight.
Really?
Where they get tested for fucking cholesterol.
What?
I kid you not, bro. I kid you not, because you have to tell them that it's for a combative blood test for Hep B and C and HIV. Right. Okay, there's a specific form you got to have them fill out.
Yeah,
specific form that gets sent over. Right now, if you go to a doctor and you tell them blood test and they, you know. They give you every fucking test in the book, but if you don't have Hep B and C and HIV, done.
Yeah.
No.
So the day before the fight, you're like, well, I guess you're not.
Yeah, like I had a report sent over to Camo, and then they sent it back to me, and they were like, well, yeah, it's okay for somebody to have sex with this person, but there's no way that they can fight. Yeah. You know, they were cleared for every sexually transmitted disease. It was like they took like the freaking the everything you can of sexually transmitted disease clearance test. Yeah. You know, for like 50 different things you could have on your fucking dick, right? Yeah. He got cleared, but not to fight.
Right, but not to fight.
Yeah, he's okay to fuck, but not to fight him. Yeah, no, seriously, that fucking happened. You know.
So what do you do when that happens? Like
you're fucked. Yeah, you got.
Will the dude be like? For the most part, will guys be like, "Fuck it, I'll fight"?
No, you can't.
Really?
No, like if your opponent is not cleared, they can't fight. Even if you go, look, I'll fight him. No, you can't.
But I'm saying, could you find another opponent for that guy if he was willing to do it?
If there's an opponent that fell out and that guy just happens to be in the same weight class and Camo will allow it, sometimes things like that happens. You know.
Damn, so there is a lot of red tape then.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have no clue. I had no clue until I got into it. Right. You know, I mean, what the fuck? Right. I learned that the best arrangement that you have is if you're dealing with like a coach that has his shit together, because then you're dealing with one guy instead of like 4 other people and listening to all their shit.
Right.
You know, when you're dealing with like fighters and you know, their coach is just yesing everything, and then it's all up to the fighter, then you're going to hear little horror stories down the line.
Right.
I'm talking like making 30 matches, you know, to start off, like 2 months down the line. Then as it comes to a week, week prior, you're at like 21. Hoping that you're
hoping that they
above
work out.
15 the day of the fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy that it works out like that. But I mean that happened to me for the Epic card when I was supposed to fight Brian Shell, and then remember I was supposed to fight Brian Shell, and then it was like, oh well, he backed out like a week before.
Yeah.
I guess he had some personal stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I was so mad. And Manolo was like, bro, they'll find somebody. Don't worry.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, especially, you know what? It's a lot easier for guys because it's harder to fill a chick fight. But also too, in your weight class, there's, I had like 6 fights, so that's 12 dudes. If 2 fall out, match them up with the dudes. You know.
Right. Just
and your weight. Yeah, mix it up. Yeah.
That's crazy. And I remember Manolo was worried the day of the fight because they wanted to weigh me in again for the fight, and Manolo was like,
"Who wanted to weigh you in?"
I got weighed in again the day of the fight.
Okay.
The day of the fight. I think it was Camo.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled me in the other room. They were doing it to everybody. They're like, "Hey, we're just gonna."
Oh, okay. I think I know what they're doing. That's what they were doing. They weren't doing it to allow you to fight. It was more of they want to see what happens.
Right. Yeah.
Wait a minute. That you did a day before weigh-in at Hooters?
Yeah.
You know what I'm beginning to wonder? I'm wondering if we were a guinea pig for a test.
Maybe.
Because they're the ones that changed it.
Really?
They changed it the day before because normally we have day of.
Yeah.
And then I got a message that, we can't staff somebody in the morning, so we're going to have it the day before.
Yeah. Maybe.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. And they were looking to see.
Yeah.
I just remember Coach Manolo was really, he was like, what'd you weigh in at? And because I weighed in for the fight, I weighed in at 177. And then this was less than 24 hours later because the weigh-ins went like at 9:30 at night. And then the next day, like around 6 p.m., they weighed me in, and I was 194.
You were 194? Okay, well, dude, do you remember the look on my face when I saw you?
You were like, you look like a different person.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
I said, oh shit, he's fucking alive?
For me, honestly, I take pride in that. And like, that's one thing that I even talked about with Josh Griggs. When I signed the contract, Josh Griggs actually came to the gym. Because again, I was also training in Carlsbad with Chris.
Right.
He came so I could sign it, and he was like, you sure you're gonna make weight, man?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I'll make weight.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got some big legs, man. And like,
no,
I walk around at like 210, 205. That's what.
No. I believe you. Believe you.
Yeah. But for me, as an amateur, I can easily walk in the day of the fight and be 10 pounds over and just be like, the dude's gonna fight me anyways. This is amateur, But
right.
To me, that's very unprofessional. To me, I want to be able. I want to set like a standard for myself so people understand. Like, nah, this dude's gonna be on weight. He's always on weight. You might not think so.
Yeah.
But when he shows up the day of the weigh-in, so for me that was a big thing, But yeah. That was a tough weight cut. That we were doing.
Yeah, it looked like a tough weight cut because, Jesus Christ, I saw you. I was like, oh, get the fuck out of here, man. and it was right after I came back from a weight cutting summit. You know what I mean? So, like, they're like, this is what happens when they cut too much weight, blah, blah, blah. I know what happens in the brain. And then I see you looking like you should be on a freaking UNICEF box and shit.
That's hilarious. Yeah, but I don't know. I think I might just stick to 185 for a little bit, just because it's tough for me right now being in the Marine Corps and having to do that. That weight cut really hurt me with that last fight.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah, I was dead. I was drained.
Dude, the difference between 185 and 170. Come on, man.
Yeah, it was definitely different. I mean, ultimately, I am gonna fight at 170, but for now, I think 185 is the better weight class. I felt much better there fighting a dude that was 6'5" than I felt at 170 fighting a dude that was only a couple inches taller than me.
Right. You know what? Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. Right, because that one was 185, right? Yeah. I saw him at the in-house True Form fight. He was walking around with his baby, and I said, Hey, you're the dude that freaking kicked him at the bell, man.
Yeah.
I remember you. Fucking guy, man.
Yeah, I don't know. He apologized for that. He apologized, like, before I even saw the video.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I watched the video in the back. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, no, really? Like, that wasn't freaking planned. That was planned. Come on.
Yeah.
Dude, come on. Really?
I'd be like, bruh, if he touched gloves... Because he asked me to touch gloves from across the octagon.
That was...
like, all right, then we'll touch gloves, you know?
I mean, no. Dude, that was planned. Yeah, no. Second 1.5, he decided to...
But you know what? The other thing that could have happened, though, easily is like, you know, we touch gloves and right away he's like, all right, time to scrap. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
No?
No. Dude.
I got kicked and I don't really remember what happened. So
his plan was, I'm gonna tap hands with this dude. As soon as this motherfucker taps hands, I'm gonna head kick him as hard as I fucking can. That's exactly his game plan.
Yeah. You know, I put a collage up of on social media of Ronda Rousey's head kick.
Yeah.
My head kick, like zoomed in. You know? I said something like some people can survive it, some people can't.
Yeah. No. That was definitely memorable. Oh, Jesus Christ, man! Ding, pa! What the fuck?
Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh!"
Yeah.
And you know what? By the second round, everybody was in my corner.
Yeah.
Down, everybody was like,
yeah.
Like, feel the
No.
crowd, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. Because everybody was like, is he gonna fucking make it? Yeah. Holy shit, the guy, isn't he knocked out?
Yeah.
What the fuck, you know?
It was definitely cool. It was definitely cool. And I tell people, you know, that was fight one. There's gonna be so many times. There's gonna be like on the road for me going where I want to go. There's gonna be so much.
Mm-hmm.
So many fights, so many crazy battles that I'm gonna face and experience.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I don't want to experience that again because there's only so many times I can survive that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I'd rather have those times later on in the fight career
than
like fight number one. You know what I mean?
Well, that's already done, bro.
Yeah. It's a done deal, but I just gotta be a lot smarter. I gotta be a lot smarter from here on out for sure.
Yeah, but your opponent at the last Epic, he's no joke, man. At 170, he's no joke. So
he was good.
yeah,
he was good. I'm still very upset at the decision. I watched the video a couple times, and I feel like it could have gone either way.
Yeah,
you know, I watched the video, and there's times when I could have knocked him out, like when I was letting my hands go on him, and I had him like stunned, and I would go in for the clinch.
Right.
And that's what ruined me. And he did a very good job defending all my takedowns, staying away from the ground with me and keeping it on the feet. But I know I surprised him.
Did you think that it was also your tank?
For sure.
Yeah.
It was my tank, but because of the weight cut.
Right. Of course.
Me,
of course. Yeah.
After the first round, when I stood up off the stool, my knees gave out.
Yeah.
I did like a little knee give out, and when I looked up, he was looking at me smiling, and in my head I was like, "Shit, he just saw that."
Yeah.
So I knew I had to come, come hard and you know act like I wasn't as gassed as I was, but it definitely showed. My gas tank wasn't there, and it was the weight cut. It destroyed me. I need to be ready. I need to make sure I'm ready all the time. You know, I can't do these weight cuts.
Be like where you come out in the third round and you know you're still at like 75% the third round.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. But yeah, I do agree that cutting down to 170 was pushing it.
Right. and I can get there. I think it's just about doing the whole lifestyle change and being smart.
Right.
Training consistently. Because it's like I work at Camp Pendleton.
Right.
So I'm driving down to San Diego all the time to train, and I hit traffic, and sometimes I can't train. So sometimes I have to go home and do work and things like that. So, you know, I think there is a way I can do it. I just have to be consistent, organized. Once I get out and I can commit full time to it, there's going to be no stopping me. I plan on being definitely a force to be reckoned with at the 170 weight class.
Well, I have another date.
Yeah.
February.
Yeah. February?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
is that 33?
No. Yes, 33. I believe it's February 3rd. I know it's locked in, but just so you can put it on your calendar.
You know what I love about you, Harvey, is I feel like you always hit me up before, you hit me up early.
Yeah.
And it helps me out because I'm like, cool.
Okay.
I can start planning ahead, and I mean the weight cut is a lot for me, but
right.
That's why it helps me out.
Mm-hmm.
So February 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
February 3rd.
You hit me up about this October 28th, and I'm just not in the gym like I want to be.
Right, right.
I'm not at the amateur level. I feel like that's where you have to learn. You have to do these extreme weight cuts and really challenge yourself and see and find out. Hey, this works for me. I noticed this. I'm better at this weight class. I like doing this. I like doing that. And I feel like I've done that these past 2 times. But I don't want to slow down, and I want to keep fighting and get more and more fights and just keep growing and learning. So absolutely, February 3rd, I just got to stay in the gym and keep training consistently, and we'll make that happen.
Well, I'm letting you know the date, but the rest of you are going to have to convince the big man to let you in there because when I bring up your name, then he's going to give you the yay or nay.
I know.
There.
Yeah, and it's, at the end of the day, it's Manolo who makes the call, and he talks to Gio a lot.
Yeah,
Gio tells me, and Manolo, they'll go back and forth. Hey, have you heard from Danny? No, have you?
No, I asked him about you one time, and he goes, "You mean the guy who I haven't seen in about a week?" I was like, "All right, never mind."
Yeah.
So then I was like, "Oh, okay, conversation's over."
And the thing is, I really appreciate him for doing that. Because it's not like he's just gonna I feel like he sees the fire in me burning strong, but I need to be training, So he's absolutely right, 100%. I'm not. Yeah. I don't want to take fights just to take fights. I'm trying to take fights to make this a career,
right? And
chase this dream for real. So when we're ready, we're gonna be ready, and we're gonna come strong for sure.
Yeah, that's why if he gives me an explanation like that, the conversation's over. Yeah. Boom, that's it. Yeah. If he tells me, they're ready, I need this, boom, 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 it's done. But if he tells me that haven't seen him in over a week, right. All right, I know what's happening. I know what's going on.
And that's exactly the thing that I love about training over there is he makes the call. At the end of the day, he makes the call. And everybody at the gym, all the fighters, we respect them. We know what's up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm with Eli all the time.
Were you hit up to fight at Park? Did you get a phone call to fight at Park?
No. I got a message about it from another fighter talking to me about it. It's October 2nd.
Yeah.
Right? And then I had brought it up to Manolo, and he just looked at me like, do you really want to do that? I know I can convince Manolo. Mm-hmm. I know I can.
By the way, did they propose somebody to you, or they just they just threw it out there? Would you? Okay.
They just threw it out there. But yeah, they just threw it out there. But yeah, it's just not realistic. I don't want to go out there and fucking.
No, I hear you.
Be disappointed in myself at the end of the day.
Right.
I'm not scared to lose.
Right.
I'm scared to go in there, be unsuccessful, and think like
you'd rather go in there 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I hear you.
Go in there 100% ready, get knocked out, and I'll be like, oh well, I did what I can. I made a mistake, and I'll work on it. But if I'm not 100%, then I'm just gonna keep training and keep working hard when I can, and keep putting the work in. Why? What's up with Park? They got this event coming. I haven't been to one of their events. I heard it's pretty cool.
I love the location. I love the show that they put on because it's a great venue and they have great video screens behind it and the sound system. It's all built in. Yeah. So the production is incredible. The drawback is that it's on a Sunday, but. You would rather have a fight on a Saturday, but it's a great venue for the fights, and they had a couple of great fights there the last time, and I was there to support a couple of the guys. Yeah. Gina fought over there. She had a split. Was it a split decision? No, not a split decision. A draw. It was a draw, actually. Yeah, she had a draw over there, but good place. Good place to watch a fight. And it's after that fight where my card is really going to come through because I have a couple of people I have to wait till that fight's over with.
Right.
And, right now, everybody's kind of preparing for that. All the teams are getting ready for that fight. But as soon as that one's over, then we're going to go full.
Yeah.
Full strength on cool. Epic 32.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, I'm ready. I'm still going to be there and show up and, just support the team. I know we got some people fighting there and stuff, so I'll be there to support the squad and just be ready for whatever comes up, and just keep putting that work.
The big man has a couple of bigger fish to fry right now in Bahrain, but as soon as he gets back, man, I'm going to talk to him about the San Diego card, and God, he's having one hell of a fucking year. Right? He's got Bahrain, and then as soon as he gets back, he has UFC 205 to get ready for in New York.
In New York,
Damn, man, Liz is fighting in New York, son.
It's crazy. It's crazy because, it's a team, you know what I mean? It's my squad, these are people that I train with every day, and it's cool just to see them coming up, and best of luck to Boogie out there in Bahrain and putting that work in, and I mean, there's a lot of good opportunities now. And the thing is like what we were talking about before. Drinking a beer with somebody and just getting your foot in the door a lot of times is a lot easier than you realize.
Yeah.
And sometimes opportunities come up, and just being like, for me, looking at it as like, I'll be out of the Marine Corps in like the next 6 months.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be training full time and going to school. I'll be here, and just focusing on training and trying to fight. And I know that this connection in Bahrain, as long as I fight and work hard and put the work in, once I go pro, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, hey, I got this guy who, you know what I mean? He's ready to go. It's like, your foot's already in the door when you're at the right spot.
Yeah, your foot is already and definitely in the door. You have that path that you could take advantage of already paved for you, should you decide to take it.
Right. I'd be a fool to not take advantage of that.
Yeah, like it's funny, but I think do you get it too? How because you're in the business, people that on the East Coast, they look and go, "Oh my God, you know that person," or you know that person, because all they do is see them on TV or something like that, and to you, it's just, oh yeah, I ran into her, I saw her, she's at the fights all the time. You know what I mean?
All the time that happens. It's funny. Last week, I had a buddy of mine that trains in Oceanside, Jimmy Airy, and he was from New Jersey, and he was talking about on the podcast how he saw this kid he wrestled out in New Jersey, and he saw this kid that he wrestled against in college and beat at EBI. He was watching on TV.
Oh, okay.
And the kid went up against Gio, and Gio submitted him.
Oh, wow.
He says how it made him very emotional, and he realized how much he wanted to get back into training and stuff.
Yeah.
And he moved out here.
Wow.
And he started training with us.
Wow.
So it's crazy. There are a lot of people like that are that dude was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he took that huge leap of faith to come out here and just train with the freaks. He just wanted
to
be
right.
The squad.
Yeah.
And I have the luxury of sitting next to Gio and playing fucking video games anytime I want. Just pushing. It's so crazy because man, you don't realize how fortunate you are to have these opportunities when they're right in front of you.
Right. You become jaded.
Yeah.
It's like every time I go see a fight, if I'm not able to walk up to the cage, walk inside of it anytime I want, I feel disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what? I'm not allowed to pass this? What? Oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
God, I feel like a regular person here,
you're
man.
A regular guy now.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
That blows, man.
So where do you see this whole thing going, man? Where do you see yourself? What is your goal in life, your end state? What would you like?
If I could figure out a way to make a living doing this 24/7, I'll jump at the opportunity now.
Yeah.
Because it's doing something that I have a passion for and being able to make a living off of it. But right now, you can't do that.
Right.
It's not it's not a very lucrative business. But if something like that came up, most definitely. I'll be all in.
Yeah. And you're talking about specifically, like, being a promoter for a company and, like, getting, like, organizing the fights. Is that what you're talking about specifically? Or?
No, if something that career-wise led to, you know, being able to do that for a living in the business part, yes, I will be willing to do that, because it's something I could wake up in the morning and just go at. Not something that you wake up and go, oh, God, 9 o'clock, I got to go there and talk to that person. Yeah. No, it's something that, you know.
Yeah, and that's incredible to me, you know, because at the end of the day, like you said, there's no money in it right now, but ultimately you're doing it and you like it.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's all about, you know. I think there's so many people that get stuck in like this like weird energy, right? Where like you show up, you go to work because you have to, and you have to pay bills, and you know, like nobody really there aren't a lot of people who are doing what the fuck they want to do. Yeah. You know, and it's sad because it's like, you know, you have a dream and a goal and you let it slip because of excuses. Yeah. You know, that's all it is. It's excuses. That's why you let it slip. There's no other reason. It's because you let your excuses get in the fucking way. You know? If you have a dream or a goal, then chase it and do it. And like ultimately that's what you're doing, you know? Like you know there's no money in it, so you're doing what you got to do to survive right now. I'm sure you don't mind the business that you're in, but if you could, you'd jump at the opportunity to you know, take whatever job you can in that aspect.
Yeah. So if all I had to do was this, deal with talking to fighters and arrange this and that, or make sure that they ended up at this fight or put this fight together or whatever, and that's all I had to do, I'll be one happy motherfucker. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That is cool. I think about that. Like, you know, you put these fights together and then you get to sit back and watch them.
That is the best part, and you don't realize it until the first fight, bing, when they touch gloves, you know. Usually they don't start kicking each other as soon as they touch gloves, but not like in your fights. But no, really, like I went like the first couple of cards that I matched, you know what I mean? I was just thrown into the fire. Yeah. You know, so it was crazy stress, and I didn't really learn to manage it until like my third one, really. Right. You know, so like my first one, as soon as the first bell rang, bing, like that, and the first fighters got in there and touched gloves, like the weight was off my shoulders, and I just watched everything happen. And it wasn't until like my third card, the one that you fought for me, where it really felt good to watch everything happen. Because as every fighter came in and these guys were in there, I can remember when I go, hey, they should fight. Yeah, you know, because it all starts off like, okay, you want to fight, so I put your name down. Then I get a phone call. Then another guy wants to fight. Then
and you match. Do you sit there and match them up? You're like, you know what? I think these two would be legit.
Yeah. That's exactly how I do it. That's exactly. And like a lot of times, I'll get a guy that's at like 170, and I'll get another guy at 170. They could match up together, but then I'm like, wait a minute. This coach is going to give me 3 more, and that guy's going to give me 2 more. If I get more 170s, maybe that 170 will match up better to that guy than these two. Right. You know, but
you really have to know these people, huh? And the more you get to know them, the more you understand like who they'd match up better against.
Right. You also there's also a lot of politics. Like there are certain teams that they run the opponent through the ringer before they agree. Then there are some coaches that be like, "Yo, the guy going to show up? Fuck it. Yeah, we'll take it." If the guy shows up, fuck it, we'll take anybody. Yeah. I have fighters who tell me, just get a guy. I'll be there. Yeah. I don't care who it is. You know, there's not a lot of guys like that. Yeah,
there isn't.
Yeah, man.
You know, I think when it comes to fighting, I think a lot of people talk tough. I think it's so big because there's so many people that like wish they could do it. Oh my God, I can't, you know, being a Marine, Marines think they're fucking tough. Yeah. They do. Yeah. And hey, I've met some badass Marines. I've met some decorated Marines. I've met Marines that are fucking real life heroes. You know, like Marines that have done just incredible things. You know, and no disrespect to those guys, but even those guys, you know, I found that the toughest Marines are the ones that are like, damn, you do MMA. That's fucking rough, bro. I couldn't do that shit. You know? Yeah. But there's always Marines that like really haven't done shit, and they think they're tough, and they're like, yeah, I want to come train. And they never come, and they always talk about it, you know?
Yeah,
It's
they're
crazy.
bark.
You run into people like that,
yeah.
or
Are you kidding me? I run into Facebook fighters all the time.
Facebook fighters.
Are you kidding? Yeah, Facebook.
Facebook fighters.
No, Facebook fighters. They'll announce that I'm going to fight on this fucking date. Right? And then, like, I'm talking about this is like the third time they pull this shit. You know what I mean? I can't call them out because when you call them out like that, it's unprofessional and then it'll make a bigger stink than it's worth.
You're just saying what these people did. You don't have to say names, but what they do.
Yeah, what they do is they're like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take anybody. Then they don't get fucking cleared. Then they come up with fucking bullshit excuses. Yeah. Like, oh, I can't make weight or I can't be there for weigh-ins. Can I do a video weigh-in? Video weigh-in? What the fuck? This isn't on a fucking Indian reservation, motherfucker. Can I do a video weigh-in? Yeah, how about I FaceTime my finger? Fuck you. What the fuck you think you're talking to, man?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
A video weigh-in for real. The guy went from his bathroom. He was going to FaceTime me.
He's like, yeah, you see that?
Yeah, he's going to step on it, right? Yeah, meanwhile, it's like his fucking girlfriend stepping on the scale.
And it comes out 185.
Fucking jack off. Or you get a guy like, man, I'll take the blood test. Well, okay, we'll pay for the blood test. I set up the appointment for you. All you got to do is show up. And they don't take the blood test. Yeah. All right, you motherfucker. It's already paid for. All you got to do is go, and you don't take the blood test. So now you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. It's crazy. There's a lot of people like that.
Yeah, there are.
There's the people that always critique, like, I would have done this.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
All you have to do, if that's something that you really want to do, just take the first fucking step and get in there. If you lose, you lose. At the end of the day, I've lost and I've won. I walk out of that octagon feeling the same way. I feel fucking just happy. Like I did it. I went through the training camp and I made it and I did what I had to do. Right. And I'm a fucking warrior. Like you just feel like a gladiator. I tell people are like, bro, how do you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. It's this weird thing. Like even in the gym when I'm getting beat up, if I get caught with like a good combination, I'm like, I'll still smile. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker.
No.
And you train. You know what I'm talking about. It's just, I don't know. It's like this.
Dude, I get caught all the time, man.
You train over at
Alliance.
At Alliance. Yeah. Who's over there? Who's it that's over there right now?
You mean the pro team?
Yeah, just like
everybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys over there. Huh?
Yeah, like every morning there's like fucking 20 guys that you see on TV all the time, man. Yeah, fucking Phil Davis, Dominic Cruz, Jeremy Stevens, Angela Hill, Kat Zingano.
Oh, Kat Zingano's out there?
Yeah.
She was out of Alliance?
Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty dope, and that's really cool because it's right here.
Chris Stanley's there now.
Chris Stanley's there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I had seen a picture of you. Maybe you were just training there. I thought you were over at their arena for a little bit.
I was there because Coach Charles had he's a Filipino martial artist.
Okay.
And he had a seminar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I took it and it was freaking great. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. No, but that was the only day that I trained at the arena, and it was great, man. Fucking Filipino martial arts with weapons and knives and everything, man. Yeah, that was something else.
That's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I trained at the arena for a little bit just because of Jesse Taylor.
Oh, yeah, JT Money,
yeah. And he hits me up, and he's like, hey, man, come wrestle with us.
Yeah, the arena doesn't have a class that I could take.
Yeah, what do you mean?
No, I pretty much take like the fucking soccer mom class, like the chicks that just have enough time to train, before they go to work, or the guys that work the graveyard, the night shift.
Why don't you come to 10th Place San Diego Jiu-Jitsu classes?
Yeah, I would. No, I definitely would. I definitely would. But I don't even roll. You know that? I only take striking. Okay. The only 2 times that I ever rolled, once with Jason when he taught a class at Victory, and the other one was with Ronda Rousey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have to roll with her.
Yeah, no, it was yeah, she did. She used me as a freaking example for how to do an arm bar. Yeah. And I was thrilled. Yeah, fucking break my arm. Just fucking snap that shit.
Yeah. You were like trying to like twitch your tricep just right. You're like, let me see if I can turn it on real quick.
No, it was dude, it was freaking incredible, And I signed up.
This arm for a week.
Yeah, no kidding. I signed up for that seminar because that was right after her first fight, and I knew that, you know what, she's going to be pretty much unapproachable after her first fight.
Yeah.
So I took advantage of that seminar, man.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. You know, it's crazy. If you want to train, you know, there's so many people that don't realize that they watch, they're fans, and they say they want to train, but they don't fucking want to train. If you want to train, you would put the work in, you'd find a gym. You'd be surprised if you go online right now, those of you listening at home, if you go online right now and you look at gyms in your area, and then look at people who train at those gyms, you'll be fucking surprised at the names you'll see on the roster. I'll never forget, when I first started to train, I just went around Oceanside. I just looked at gyms. I went to the compound. I got some classes.
Oh, okay.
I went, I went all over. I was like, you know what? What made me want to start training is when I was in Afghanistan when Brock Lesnar started fighting.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
We would watch like the fights and shit. Like when we were on the base and shit, we were able to watch it. And like I would always make like predictions, you know, based off of my like. Because I grew up boxing and wrestling. Based off what I knew about fighting, I'd make predictions and I'd see things. And I used to always say, like, you know, Brock Lesnar's big and he's huge. But I don't think he's that technical. I think if he fights somebody that's technical, he'll get destroyed. And everyone's like, no, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And, like, then he fought Overeem.
Right.
And then I remember I was back from Afghanistan when that happened. And I was with my chick at the time. And we were at this restaurant in Oceanside. And we were watching the fight. And I was like,
you know,
I knew it. I got to start training.
That fight changed my life.
Really?
Yeah, UFC 141. That fight. Yeah.
Why? What was it about?
I happened to be in Vegas, right?
You're always in Vegas.
Yeah, I am always in Vegas. No, I happened to be in Vegas, right? And I thought that I was going to be able to roll up to 141 the way I did to 125 and just cop a ticket, you know, and sit upstairs for like $150, right? So I brought $200, right? Okay. And I walk and
ended up watching it in the ballroom.
No. No, you're gonna like this story, all right? So I walked up to the counter. It was like, the only ticket that we have is like $350, right? And the New York in me came out, like, you get the fuck out of here. You think of $350 for my second UFC fight? I'm still on the fence about this goddamn sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. So I'm walking out and I'm pissed off, and then I'm like, you know, like my New York inside of me came out, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna cop a ticket from a dude selling it around here.
Yeah, out on the street.
Right, yeah. So I'm just walking around, and I saw a dude with a all access lanyard, you know, hanging from his chest. You know what I mean? So then I walk right by him, and he has a ticket in his hand, and as security walks by, he hides the ticket behind his leg. Right? So I'm like, that nigga's selling that ticket. That nigga's selling that ticket. So I walked up to him, and he's like, yeah, I have one ticket. Yeah, and it's a $500 ticket, you know. And I said, oh shit. Of course, I'm prepared, so I have $200, 100 in each pocket.
You're like, yo, I'll give you 100.
That's all I had, you know. I said, yo, all I got is $100, you know. Because if he said, oh, 120, oh yeah, I got $20 too, $120, you know. Yeah. So I gave it to him. Oh, but the thing is that I'm thinking, shit, if I give him $100, what if that ticket is scanned and he's performing a scam on me? Right. You know, it's the chance I'm taking, right? But the look on his face, like he wants to get rid of it, and he was with a dime piece that wanted to go. And he had full Brazilian accent. You know what I mean? So he must have been connected with a corner or something, and his bitch wanted to bounce. So he was like, fuck, $100? All right, yeah. So he gave me $100. It was row 2.
Shut up.
Behind Frank Mir.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was an $800 face value ticket right behind Frank Mir, row 2, to see 141, man.
So you were there watching it live in row 2, and I was in Oceanside watching it. It changed your life. Yeah. And it made me want to start.
That changed my life, man. That really changed my life. Because I got to see that fight up close, you know what I mean? And to see the technical stuff. I mean, to hear, like, when people get hit and to hear them go, like that. You don't see that on TV, man. Right. Nobody knows that stuff unless you're really in the cage or you're that close.
But you can hear me like...
Oh yeah, you can. You could tell when they're heavyweights because when they take a step, it's a boom, 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 boom. Shit. When it's a 155er, you don't hear that.
Yeah, you just hear
the ta 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 ta. You know, and when you hear the punches like that, bam, and you can hear it because it's right there.
It's right there.
It's not on the TV.
Yeah,
you saw that.
Different. It's different energy.
It completely different.
I've never been to live UFC, so I definitely got to go. I know we had talked about going to the one in New York.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to make that. I'm going.
No, but one day we got to make a trip out of it, a Vegas thing or whatever.
What do you think is gonna happen now that it's sanctioned in New York? Like, do you think gyms are gonna start opening up out there? Like, you know what I mean?
No, they have gyms.
No, I know they do, but I feel like it's really gonna start blowing up now. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like now the circuit's open.
Right.
You know?
So you're gonna see a lot more regional shows there that are able to in New York, and then you're gonna see an Epic Fighting in New York. You're gonna see a Spar Star in New York. You're gonna see a U of MMA in New York. Yeah. You're gonna see somebody who's gonna be them in New York. Right. You know. You know,
yeah, I'm trying to get on that show,
dude. If I got the phone call and somebody said,
New York and do that, yeah.
No,
would you go back and forth? Would you be? Are you able to do that?
If the money was right, I'll fly anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If I was able to just do that, and there was a fight that was in the Philippines, and I had to be there to go do what I do here over in the Philippines, I'll do it. If after that I had to be in Canada 3 weeks later, I'll do that. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Shit, man,
definitely.
Nice, man. Hey, we're already at an hour 30. You know, we're 30 minutes past what I normally do, man.
It's all good.
Up, man. You got any plugs you want to put in? I know you got Epic Fighting coming up.
Yep. 1028 Epic Fighting. Be there after the park show here in San Diego. We're gonna go full force. So everybody who after you see your fighters over there. A lot of those guys are also going to be on my card too. Hopefully they don't get medically suspended. Right. But after that one's over, I'm going to go full force on mine. And if I can make my fight equivalent to what it was at Epic 31, it'll be a great end of the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, man. So, like he said, October 28th, it'll be Epic 32 and 32, 33.
32. Yeah, 32. Right? Yeah,
I'm 32.
Yeah, losing count, man. My first was Epic fucking 7, yo.
Well, there you go, man. Jeez. Epic 32 already. October 28th. Go check it out. It's gonna be down at the
4 Point Sheraton.
4 Point Sheraton out here in San Diego. Come check us out. I'll be over there. Come say what's up. You know, and as always, you know, from nothing to something, we love you guys. You got to start somewhere because you got to go somewhere. From nothing to something, you got to make it happen. Chase your dreams. Don't let anything hold you back. Hey, we love you. We're getting out of here. Thanks a lot, brother, for coming and checking us out. We really appreciate you, for real.
Thanks for having me here, bro.
Hey, man, for real. Hey, all y'all at home, have a good one. We'll see you next week. Out here.